Hey guys, what's up? This is Swordfish, and today I'm making a video talking about my top 5 personal favorite JRPGs on the PS3. I'll try to keep this nice and short, so it doesn't tend to drag on for too long. Anyway, enjoy. Alright, number 5 on the list is Record of Agress War. This game is the first in a series of 3 games that span across 3 generations. It was honestly really hard for me to choose which Agress game I like best, but for some reason, I don't know, this one just stuck out to me. It's got a really cool story with a memorable cast of characters. And what makes these games unique is that the first chapter, or generation, there are 3 love interests that can have different affection levels for the main character. After the first generation is over, you marry the love interest whose affection level was the highest for you, and then you bear a son. And that son is the main character of the next generation. So that's a very cool spin on traditional Japanese storytelling. The battle system kind of plays out like your typical strategy RPG with a few twists, such as kind of complicated things like extended attacks and esoteric, whatever the hell they call it, combo attacks. All 3 of the Agress games are definitely great games, but the first one to me was the best of the 3. It stuck out to me. It was, in my opinion, the most memorable of the 3. They're very lengthy, and I haven't really had the chance to play them as much as I'd like to because they're just so long. But again, from what I've played, the first one, in my opinion, is the best one. So definitely check that game out. And next up for number 4 is Resonance of Fate. Trius games aren't really my favorite games, but there are a few that really stick out. My personal favorite is definitely Valkyrie Profile 2, but Resonance of Fate is a very close second. I'm gonna have to be honest here. For me, if a JRPG doesn't have a great story to draw me in, then it's literally absolutely no incentive to keep playing. It's an RPG, a role-playing game. I hate games that half-ass stories. For a game like that, what am I gonna do? Fight battles on purpose for 40 plus hours? No, fuck that. Bro, Resonance of Fate is an exception. Story-wise, the game is actually very good, but it tells it to you in small snippets, and it doesn't really pick up until late into the adventure. It's not that the game is a bad story, it's just afraid to tell it to you. Luckily, the characters are at least a likable bunch, especially the main 3. They really do feel like the perfect trio, and to add to the characterization, you'll fall even more in love with the characters after their dark secrets have been revealed. Like I said before, if a JRPG doesn't have a great story, it's absolutely worthless. But for some reason, Resonance of Fate just kept hypnotizing me to come back for more. It's just so much fun to play. It's a very unique, gun-driven battle system, and all your characters doing all these crazy acrobatics and flips and spins in the air while shooting, and just like tossing their guns over their shoulders and tossing them under their crotches while shooting. It's just badass. And there's definitely a wealth of strategy to be had too. So this is one of the very, very few games where I can forgive the not so story-driven gameplay. It's definitely a very good game, so by all means, go for it. Number 3 on the list is Tales of Grace's F. I think I've made it pretty clear in a lot of my previous videos, but I'll say it again. I am a huge, die-hard fan of the Tales series. A lot of critics bitch and moan and complain and whine about them being cliche or something like that, and really all they think is that the only good thing about these games is the combat systems, which in my opinion I find entirely false. I absolutely adore the stories in these games, and that's one of the biggest strengths of Grace's. It's got a compelling and gripping, sometimes even emotional story with characters that you won't forget after you beat the game. You'll laugh with them, you'll cry for them, and you'll be angry if something happens to them. Don't get me wrong, the story ain't no abyss, but it's still very good. Battles are a lot of fun, but it's kind of the same old with a few tweaks. Saying that it's breaking new ground in the series is going a little overboard. It's fun, don't get me wrong, but it does kind of get stale after a while. But it is a lot of fun. I'm just going to stress that right now. But overall, Grace's did greatly exceed my expectations. Just to the point, when I thought the series couldn't get any better, Grace's proved me dead wrong. And it's not only a fantastic game, but an outstanding game in its own right. By all means, please buy this game. You will not regret it. We're about to hit the home stretch. Number 2 goes to Final Fantasy XIII. Oh boy, here's the doozy. 13 was just amazing. Everyone hates the game for stupid reasons because it's not like the other fucking Final Fantasy games from 1 through 10. Looks like everyone is still too busy jerking off to 7 will instantly reject anything even remotely foreign to the series. Yes, we've beaten this whole linear thing debate to death, and nothing more needs to be said about it. I really do not feel like going into detail about this, but I'll just say it in layman's terms. With the exception of Final Fantasies 11, 12, 10-2, and 14, all Final Fantasy games are linear. 13 just isn't afraid to show it. It just trimmed off the fat, that's all. For me, 13 honestly blew my mind. I didn't mind the linearity. In fact, I actually embraced it. As I've stated many times before in this video, the story is the most important part of a JRPG, and because of its structure, 13 places more emphasis on story and characters above all else. The story is a little confusing in the beginning, but it's very well told and only beaten by Final Fantasy IX. The characters are the absolute best in the series, with rich backstories and diverse personalities, and go through outstanding development. The battles are also the best in the series, with fast-paced, semi-real-time encounters that make you quick to think on your feet. The auto-battle feature is a godsend because the battles become very chaotic, and you won't have time to be fumbling through menus, as your eyes will literally be all over the screen watching HP, paradigms, and chain gauges. 13 is a different game in the series, and a very welcome one at that, and it's easily the second best JRPG on the PS3. And finally we hit first place, and I award the honor of first place to Nier. This game just absolutely blew me away. The game has a few faults, but the pros definitely outweigh the cons by a landslide. The soundtrack is one of the best, if not the absolute best in the history of video games. It uses a combination of haunting vocals with beautiful violins and is just outstanding. The story is brilliant. It's a beautiful tale of tragedy, loss, fighting for your loved ones, and even a hint of betrayal. The multiple endings add even more to this amazing story, and each time you begin a new game, there will be new cutscenes and extra dialogue that wasn't in the previous playthrough, and these add to the already insane amount of plot twists in the game. You'll learn more about the world, you'll learn more about its inhabitants, and you'll even learn about what happened in the past. The characters are absolutely unforgettable. The three main characters are an outstanding trio, and their personalities perform in tandem with each other, and they all have a feeling and relationship with one another. This game is the perfect example of the phrase, a group of not-so-merry men. This means that each character has their own personal flaws that they have to deal with. These characters aren't just a bunch of teenage saints out to save the world. They're legitimate people with very dark and even sinister pasts, and they're just on a journey to do what's right. The supporting cast is equally as good and well developed, and considering the fact that this is an RPG, there will be character deaths, and Nier performs this with the utmost brilliance. There are no corny and cheesy tell my wife and kids that I love them. These are deaths that will pull at your heartstrings. Nier it pulls absolutely no punches, and you will cry. No, you won't shed a tear, you will cry, and that's exactly what I did. Nier touches up on very sensitive themes that gave it its M rating, which I will refrain from telling you what they are. I must correct a mistake from before, though. There are actually 4 main characters, not 3. I apologize. The personalities and backstories and motives for each character are just done so well. The main character, who you name, tries his very best to protect his sick daughter Yona, who is another lovable and innocent character. Whenever you see her coughing, gagging, wheezing, gasping for air, you'll make a fist, and you'll become determined to save her from harm's way. Then there's Grimoire Weiss, which is apparently not to be abbreviated. He's a smart, yet funny and sarcastic flying talking book with an English accent that always has something to say. Kaine is a young woman who wears, well, almost no clothes at all. And, well, let's not mince words here, but this woman curses like a sailor.
Weiss! You dumbass! Start making sense, you rotten book, or you're gonna be sorry. Maybe I'll rip your pages out one by one, or maybe I'll put you in the goddamn furnace. How can someone with such a big smart brain get hypnotized like a little bitch, huh? Oh, Shadow Lord, I love you, Shadow Lord. Come over here and give Weiss a big sloppy kiss, Shadow Lord. Now pull your head out of your goddamn ass and start fucking helping us!
Her backstory is the saddest of them all. Then there's the young boy Emil with a curse. Everything he looks at turns into stone. He feels like he was only born to destroy. Every character plays their part just wonderfully, and the story and characters are the absolute only reason to play this game. The gameplay itself wasn't the best, but it was still fun. It's basically an action RPG. You know, you'll kill enemies, gain experience, and you can even customize your weapons and spells, which was pretty cool. All in all, though, Nier is a perfect example of why people fell in love with JRPGs in the first place. Their stories. The story is so high up on the spectrum of other top-tier narratives, rivaled only by Persona 4, the best game ever made. Nier is one not to be missed, and it would be a crime if you did. Anyway, that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.